guess what? That's right, it's time for a brand new recipe. Oh man, it has been a long time. Well, it seems like a long time since I put together a recipe for you, and I am so excited to be able to do one today and bring this one to you. Alright, we all know that it's grilling time, and today, I know we're not outside, we're in the kitchen. But we're gonna put something together that you can use when you take to a grill out or you're gonna grill outside yourself. So today we are gonna make a wonderful, and I do mean a wonderfully delicious, vegan baked bean recipe. We're gonna throw this baby together, and you know where it all happens? It all happens right back here. So let me get you down to the counter and we're gonna start putting this recipe together. Let's go. So these are some of the delicious ingredients that are gonna be used in this recipe today. All the ingredients will be listed in the info section down below. You can check it out there and print that recipe out if you need to. So for this wonderfully delicious baked bean recipe we're gonna make, I used 1 bag of 16-ounce pinto beans, and I've let them soak overnight in a bowl. So I'm going to set those aside, and one of the first things we're going to need to do is we're going to need to turn on the oven because we're going to do some sauteing. So for this recipe, what you're going to want is you're going to want 1 large onion. So let's just cut that baby up. So what you're going to want to do with this onion is you're going to want to go ahead and you're going to want to dice this up good. Oh yeah, there we go. I think I'm about to cry. Alright, then after you got your onions all chopped up, we're gonna use some ginger. Now I like ginger. You don't have to put this in if you don't want to, but I like the flavor of it in my baked beans. So I'm using a fairly large piece. Use however much you desire to use. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna chop this up really super fine. Alright, once you got your ginger all chopped up, then what you're gonna need is 3 cloves of garlic. You're gonna want to take and you're gonna want to mince up your garlic really fine. Okay, now remember, make sure when you're cutting up your garlic and you're cutting up your ginger, make sure you mince that up really well, because that's gonna help release all the oils and the flavors into your baked beans. That's really, really super important. It's not only good for your health, but the flavors, ooh, perfect. All right, back to it. Okay, so we have our pan heating up on the stove. You can use an oil of your choice. I'm gonna use olive oil for this. And we're gonna saute up our onions and our other stuff. So go ahead and add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil into your pan. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put our onions in there and we're gonna start sauteing them up. So what we're going to do is we're just going to stir these around and we're going to cook them until they start to become translucent. And after we let these cook for a little bit, then we're going to go ahead and add in our garlic and our ginger. And we're going to go ahead and add in our minced garlic and we're going to add in our minced ginger. So just go ahead and whoop, put those in there just like that. Give that a good stir around because you want to make sure that's all incorporated in there really good. Get all those flavors blended together. That's what I'm talking about. Now we're going to add into this 2 bay leaves. We're going to go ahead and drop those bay leaves in there. Once again, kind of give that a mixing, and we're just going to let all that saute down. So I just thought I would give you a glimpse of behind the scenes of what's going on while we're waiting for all this to saute up. As you can see behind me, I got my camera right over here. I got the lights all set up, and everything is sauteing in that pan back there. So I just kind of thought I would give you a glimpse of what this looks like while I'm putting this together. All right, let's get back to work. Okay, as you can see here, we got all this sauteing up really nice. Smelling that ginger wolf out of there. That smells so good. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's add some of our other ingredients to this. Okay, for this recipe, I used a 16-ounce bag of pinto beans, and I soaked them overnight. So what we're going to do is we're just going to drain those out now, kind of wash them off. So once we got those all rinsed off, back to the frying pan. Okay, so we have our beans all strained out. We're going to go ahead and add our beans. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to transfer this to a bigger pot. Now, I could have started this recipe in a deeper pot. This is not going to be able to hold everything for this recipe, so we're just going to transfer everything to a bigger one. And next, we're going to go ahead and we're going to add in some vegetable stock. We're going to probably use about 16 ounces of vegetable stock for this. And then we're going to add 1 small can, some tomato paste. Give that a good little stir. Okay, now we want to add in 2 tablespoons of blackstrap molasses, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, 2 tablespoons of Bragg's amino acids, or you can use soy sauce. And then for my recipe, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna use a mustard with horseradish sauce in there. Kind of like the little kick it gives. And we're just gonna add 1 tablespoon of that. And then we're gonna add 1.5 tablespoons of sriracha sauce. And just give that all a good stir. So next we're gonna add our dry ingredients. I already have them put out on a plate here. So what we have garlic powder, we have onion powder, I have ancho powder, and I have cumin. And all the measurements will be listed down below in the info section. So take a look down there and it'll tell you how much you should put in there. So we're just gonna go ahead and dump all those in there. We're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna mix all this around. I'll tell you what, there's nothing that beats making your own homemade baked beans. Okay, and the one last ingredient we're gonna add in, I'm gonna use some organic cane sugar. So just go ahead and dump that in there, stir it all up. What you wanna do is you wanna bring this to a boil. So once you reach a boil on this, we're just gonna turn this down to a low simmer. And we're gonna cook it for about 10 to 15 minutes. And make sure you stir it occasionally so that way nothing burns to the bottom. Now what I really think makes this recipe taste really good, an ancho chili pepper powder. And the flavor that this brings to the recipe is both a smoky, sweet, but yet just a little spicy of a flavor to it. I love the ancho chili pepper. Okay, so what we're trying to do here is to let those beans cook and all those flavors kind of marinate into everything. Now, if it gets dry, if it starts running out of liquid, you can either go ahead and add more veggie stock or you can add water to it. Now, see, to me, that's getting a little bit dry. So I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add a little bit more veggie stock to it. Make sure you don't forget to stir it. You don't want anything to stick to the bottom. All right, well, these have been cooking for about 10 minutes. You want to touch your beans. Basically what you're doing is you're cooking these down and they're going to be soft, but not mushy. Okay, so what you're going to want to do while your beans are cooking down for that 10 to 15 minutes, you're going to want to go ahead and turn your oven on, set it for 375 degrees and get it preheated and ready to go for the next step of this recipe. Okay, now our beans, they're all done on the stove. They cooked for about 15 minutes and they're just nice and soft. They're not mushy. Next, what we're gonna do is go ahead and dump all your bean mixture in a casserole dish. Go ahead and spread that around a little bit. Okay, this is totally optional. You can either cover it with tin foil or you can leave them uncovered. All right, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna slide our baked beans in the oven. And we're gonna let them cook for another 15 minutes and then I get to try them. This recipe is so good. You gotta try this one. This is one of my favorites. All right, our beans have been in the oven for 15 minutes and it's time to pull them out. Finally, I get to taste them. Oh yeah, that pan's hot. All right, let's take it off and take a look. Look at those. Oh my gosh, the smell is just absolutely phenomenal. All right, that takes care of our recipe for today. That is a super delicious and healthy recipe. You're definitely gonna love this one. You gotta give this one a try. And if you do me a favor. Leave me a comment down below and tell me what you thought about this recipe. Your communication by leaving comments down below, it is so important for all those who come this way, who pass this way, to be able to see whether or not they personally would like to give this recipe a try. And now we come to the moment I've been personally waiting for. That moment is where I actually get to eat some of it after taking all that time to cook it. It didn't really take that long. All right, let me play some of this up. I'll tell you what, the aromas, oh man, you're not gonna find a better baked bean than this. I mean, if you do, I mean, that's awesome. Leave me a comment down below and tell me about it, because I'd love to try it. All right, here comes the moment of truth. I am gonna taste it. Oh my God, the flavors are just like pop. That is so robust. The flavors are just like, it's like drinking a fine wine. It starts out one way and then it ends up another way. And it has so many different flavors that are involved in that. This is like gourmet cooking right here. And it didn't take that long. You gotta try this recipe. All right. We're gonna kind of wrap this little video up right here. If you're new to this channel, don't forget to go ahead and click that little subscribe button down below here in the corner. And if you would, I would really appreciate if you've taken the time to watch this video, give me a thumbs up. Also, don't forget to go ahead and share this. Share it on your Facebook, share it on your social media. I would greatly appreciate that. Believe me, this is one that you definitely want to try. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna just end this little video right here. I wanna thank you so much for taking your time to spend with me today. I greatly appreciate it. I really, truly do. And until I see you again, which is gonna be a cooking recipe video, until I see you again, later.